8 things the black man needs to take or make a priority. Number 1, truly seek Jesus first. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get this twisted. We need to prioritize God in this fight, in this struggle. And I know some of you may say, many of you may say, that through all these years and generations, where has God been in this? And I've said from countless videos I've done, and you go back and look at them, that the black man, and I'm going to say this in a synopsis type way, the black man is the original. The black man is the original. Okay? He is the original. So in the Bible, when it says, let us create man, that man was a black man. And like I said, I'm going to package this nice and neat, because I've spoken on this before. And this is now it doesn't say this in the Bible or anything like that, but I surmise from reading in the Bible that first of all, and this is accurate, whereas the black man was the original. And being the original, Satan has always tried to get at man through God. So, in getting at man, he has always attacked the black man being the original. Okay? He went after the original, and still to this day goes after the original, the blueprint. You don't go after knockoffs, you go after the blueprint. So that's what he has done. That is his job. We as black people, along the way, these many generations, have lost our way, have lost our foundation. And we continue to let Satan manipulate us and misguide us through infighting, through accepting the lies that he has perpetuated throughout all these years. And he has willing participants in his game, be it racist people, be it mostly racist white people. So, number 1, you don't leave Jesus out of this. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Truly seek after Jesus to get this thing in order. Number 2, acknowledging that the devil is a liar concerning black history. Again, I have to keep this in a nutshell, but there are countless assertions, lies, rumors, and so forth that the devil has perpetuated throughout history against the black man. Countless. And we have to see this. We have to acknowledge this. As a whole, not just as randomly selected people, but as a whole. We have to acknowledge this. Again, and stop believing in the lies. Stop believing in the persona that certain races of people are the be all and end all. Stop falling into this trap of deceit. Again, we have to acknowledge who is and what is behind this. The constant lies. I'll give you one for example, like the images of the Sphinx. Napoleon himself, the great French leader, he took it upon himself to have his men, his armies, disfigure the statues of the Sphinx because their features were very prominently Negro. So he tried his best to alter those features. That's fact. That is fact. That's just one little thing right there I want you to take hold of and do some research on your own on these things. Number 3, we must respect each other corporately. We must respect each other. There's too much disrespect amongst each other in the black community. Outwardly, yeah, we can try to show each other some love and things like that. But we, in essence, truly don't respect each other. And why is that? Because deep down, we are still trying to find a footing of who we are collectively, individually. So therefore, we disrespect each other. But I'm here to tell you, and I want to keep reminding you, that we are the blueprint. And when you try, and when you see yourselves in that light, you should, and hopefully begin to take a better look at yourselves in the mirror, and not think of yourselves as low grade, not think of yourselves as not enough, not thinking yourselves as, or seeing yourselves as being spat upon. We are the kings and queens. We are the original. We are the blueprint. And it's time we started to elevate ourselves in our minds and in our hearts. And stop disrespecting one another. Treat each other better. Treat each other better amongst ourselves. You know, and when we're discussed, we're always discussed in the story of the crabs in a barrel, so to speak. And I'm sure you've heard of it before, whereas you have crabs in a barrel, and one is trying to get out, and he's almost making it to the top, and then you got another one pulling him back, because he's trying to grab and pull and make it to the top. So we're constantly pulling each other back down. People, that has to stop. Instead of pulling each other back down, we should be helping each other over the top. One makes it at the top near, he pulls up the other one, and he climbs over, and as he's climbing over, he's helping to pull up the one behind him. That's how we should work with each other, instead of shooting each other down, disrespecting one another, and not having enough love for one another. Outwardly we do this, but it's not in a true form. it's not love, real love behind it. We need to have that real love behind it. That's why I say we have to have Christ incorporated, truly incorporated in the mix. Number 4, commit to each other in marriage. You know, the black family really took a tumble during the 60s. There was a disproportionate number of black families being wiped out. And when I say wiped out, meaning that the father, the head of the household, was absent from the family. That began to happen in the 60s. We were a pretty tight-knit group up until that point as far as family. Then when the 60s hit with Vietnam War, drugs, the hippie movement, women's lib, all that stuff came in and it disintegrated the black family. Black men took on a new attitude, a different attitude. Black women, the same thing. And it was all in the wrong direction. We need to commit to each other in marriage. And I want to be specific on that. Black men with black women. Too often I see, some of you may get mad about this, but too often I see a black man makes it up the ranks. Either in power or money or both. And he conveniently gets a white woman along his quest in upward mobility. Therefore leaving a black woman behind. Therefore leaving that black woman with multiple kids, and she has to fend for herself. And therefore that black unit, that black family isn't as strong as what it should be. So I say, commit to each other in marriage, being black man, black woman. Because we have not ever gotten anywhere close to the point of us being a race of people, whereas we can afford to marry outside of the race. Because keep in mind that we still have to build each other up first to even get to that point. We have to build each other up in the sense of strength and unity, monetarily and socially, and so on and so on. We're nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. So by marrying outside of the race, all we're doing is weakening ourselves even more. Even more. So I'm not saying this to be a racist or anything like that. I'm saying this purely in the sense of black unity. Purely in the sense of bringing the people up to the level where they should be. Number 5. When it comes to politics, demand accountability from both parties or any other party out there. Demand accountability. Look at it this way: with the Republican Party, and years ago, decades ago, up until the 60s, the Republican Party was the choice party for black people. And then when the 60s hit, we flipped the script on that, and then it began to be Democrat. And through those years, the Democratic Party, and I'm just being honest about this, has taken advantage of black people. Taken advantage of us. And we've been talking about the wrong issues. I mean, yeah, it was good on one part to want equality, and we've been given equality to some degree, not to the degree where it should be, but we should have been focusing more on ending systemic racism, ending unfair housing, ending so many other issues that really hit us at the core and really help keep us down. We should demand accountability from the Democrats and not just expect that we're going to automatically vote Democrat. We should also demand this from Republicans. Now, also keep in mind that when a Republican asked to be a part of a meeting in a black neighborhood, and I've seen far too often that he or she get rejected just because they're Republican. No. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Have them there. Have them come there. But we need to start making demands. You want our vote? You want this? You want that from us? We need to get this and that from you. That's what we need to start doing. Same goes for the Democratic Party. Don't just think that you got an easy ride because we're black. Don't do that. And we should stop accepting this type of situation. It's time that we rise up and demand, because we don't truly realize the power and clout that we have if we collectively come together. But until we realize this, we won't go anywhere. We will continue to stay in this mud puddle going nowhere. So rise up. Think about what I'm saying. Let's get together on this. Number 6, and I just mentioned this, systemic racism. We need to push for structural change in the Constitution and the constitutions of every other state. What's going on now, that's good, but we need to keep pushing this. Pushing it. And we need to get specific on these issues. We need to get very, very specific. Okay? To end this type of situation. And one of the ways I thought of, when it comes to police officers, they've got way too many officers on these forces who, in hindsight, don't like black people, who in hindsight are like Barney Fife. They're scared, weak little men. Scared, weak little men. And when they come in the presence of a black person, they freak out. And even with those who don't call themselves racist, they're in that same boat because they freak out. We need to, systemically speaking, seek individuals who do not fall or whimper at the drop of a dime, who don't fall and whimper when the pressure comes. We don't need people like the opposite of that on any of these police forces. We don't need them. There are people out there that are well qualified to carry out the duties of a police officer, but it seems like we're always, these police stations are always picking these individuals. But you know what? Then again, these things always start from the top, right? So, starting from the top, this is where we have to change things, maneuver, shake things up. Everything always starts from the top. But again, we have to keep this ongoing. We can't let up on this. Can't let up. Number 7. Again, coming together, communally, coming together, pooling our money together as an entity instead of individually. You know, there are black banks out here, and I'm going now. We need to start pooling our money in some of these black banks, but at the same time, we need to do our homework on some of these places too, because I initially started to I opened up an account, and I'm going to say the name too, because you need to be heard, you need to be found out, because you slack. One United Bank. Okay, One United Bank is a black-owned bank. And I'm trying to make this as brief as possible on this. I opened up an account. I only started out with $50 because I wanted to see, hey, are you going to treat me right? Now, this is me wanting to get with a black-owned business, a black-owned corporation. It goes hand in hand. You got to do right by me too. I opened up the account. And to make a long story short, I had problems with the app. I tried to get help with it. I called twice. I was on hold for a total of 2 hours on 2 separate occasions. I tried to do a chat, online chat. Still couldn't get through. I emailed them. They never responded back, but I always got an advertisement in lieu of that. So finally, the thing I've done is, okay, I'm just going to get rid of you, period. They never responded back to me, so all I did was I just let it dwindle down. That little $50, I let it dwindle down. I will not do anything with this bank. See, just because you say black owned don't mean squat to me. You got to measure up. You got to measure up, because this is a serious thing going on. You got to measure up. You can't be slack. Enough of this being slack. Can't be slack. I got to do my part. You got to do your part. Let's do this together. Let's make this happen. But it can't happen if one of us is being slack. Can't happen. Both of us have to step our games up. Being companies and being as individuals, we got to step our game up. And number 8, work on changing our image. Work on changing our image. You know, there's so many avenues I can hit upon with this. And those out there seeing this, hearing, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave it like that. You know what I'm talking about. All I have to say is we need to work on changing our image. We need to work on that. I don't even have to go into details on that. We need to work on changing our image. Okay? We need to work on that. We need to work on it. So those are the 8 things. Those are the 8 things that the black man needs to make a priority. Listen to what I said. Take heed. Enough said.